So, Daniel, please introduce yourself and your company and where you're calling from today.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, everybody. My name is Daniel Sokolovsky. I'm the co-founder and CEO here at Warp. I'm calling in from Los Angeles, California.
You got the name just perfect that time. Good job. So, what does Warp do and who do you serve?
Absolutely. So Warp helps brands and retailers save money on their transportation. We tackle their inbound supply chain, outbound store delivery, as well as their returns network. And effectively, we've created a hub and spoke model that is very flexible and allows them to customize their needs while constantly looking for the lowest cost solution.
Yeah. So, today's topic is Warp is the LTL network of the future, but you guys are not a traditional LTL company with all your own trucks and a whole bunch of terminals across the country. Please explain.
Yeah, absolutely. So we leverage an existing network of smaller businesses that effectively play a large role as in our network. We have three different pieces of our operation. So local, that's primarily made up of delivery service providers as well as other carriers that have cargo vans, box trucks, 53-footers. We also have a long haul or line haul portion of our business, which is primarily run and operated by existing carriers, typically larger carriers that have a large asset base of trucks and drivers. And then from the cross-docking perspective, we utilize a network of, again, like I mentioned, smaller businesses, medium-sized businesses that are able to go out and help us with part of our network. And we provide the technology to every single part of these businesses and every single one of these providers to make sure that everything is connected and everything is working seamlessly.
So if I did do a shipment with you, I might be working with 2 or 3 different trucking companies, one that's local to me that picks it up, takes it to the long haul facility, the long haul driver, and then the local driver on the other end. But ultimately, Warp is the one who says we are fully responsible. It's our technology, and we're the ones who will make sure you're from beginning to end, you have the service you need.
Yeah, and we're actively operating this network, right? So we're not just going out and saying, hey, here's our technology, you figure out how to work with it. We're going out and giving pricing per shipment, working with the providers in our network, working to make sure that everything is properly dialed in. So it's almost like we're running a network of trains. The assets may not belong to us, but we need to make sure the trains are running.
I don't think anyone cares who owns the assets as long as somebody's responsible and I can get it for a good price. And, before we hit the record button, we were talking about the LTL world. I'm an advocate. I'm not against LTL, but it does lack sometimes the flexibility we all want and need. During COVID, we had problems. And again, these are very difficult businesses to create. I remember talking to a private equity guy, Ben Gordon, years ago. I hope I don't misquote Ben. Sorry, Ben, if I do. But I asked him, why don't we have more LTL companies? He said, it's a very difficult business. He says, because you have to have lots of density. So I have to have a lot of shipments that are going from Chicago to Detroit and Chicago to Grand Rapids. So you've got to get that density right. You got to buy all the trucks, all the terminals. And if it was really easy, we'd have a whole bunch more LTL carriers. So I think you guys have kind of come at it, said, we're going to be really good at the technology. And correct me if I'm wrong, you couldn't have done this 10 years ago because the technology wasn't advanced enough for you guys to manage it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 10 years ago, the technology that was available, I think was good for figuring out how to do parcel in a better way, right? But I think parcel is a lot easier than LTL. And I think LTL is such a more complicated beast with so many more touch points, so many more things to do, so many more places that something can go wrong, that I think it's really the advent of AI and all of the new technologies that are available today that have helped us do this. But yeah, I think the technology for us is the backbone of our business.
Yeah. And, one thing I should also point out, I know somebody's saying, well, I'd rather work with an LTL company that owns all their own trucks. There's a very good chance that the LTL company you're working with is using other companies to move the line haul. So that is very normal. And again, no shade. It's just that's the nature of our business.
Yeah, I mean, it's no one's building a church for Easter Sunday, right? So I think that's kind of what happened during COVID, but it's also what's happening now is LTL carriers, especially the national ones, are leveraging a very large network of agents that are either doing line hauls, some local pickup and delivery. Sometimes they're outsourcing their facilities and their terminals. So I think, we're we're just not masking it.
Right. And again, I don't think that it used to matter a lot more if you were, say, a broker and you said, "Oh, I don't own trucks." And I joke about my podcast. I've made those phone calls where you say, "Hey, I'd like to help you with your freight." And they go, "You own your own trucks?" No, click. But we don't see it that way anymore because we've recognized that whether you're a freight broker or 3PL, whatever you're saying, an operator in the middle, they add value and people recognize that. And by the way, when I used to be at a little 3PL, we did mostly LTL. And I remember shipments that would go to the middle of the country. I want to say like Wyoming or, out kind of in the sticks. Those were always delivered by partner carriers to the LTL companies. So this is not what you guys are doing is not like brand new in that you're leveraging carrier partners like everybody has for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think what we're doing that's different is we've finally really pierced through being able to take the technology and have it, control and make every single piece of this chain more visible. Because I think that's been the biggest thing that's been missing.
Daniel, before we hit the record button, I said this to you is a friend of mine, and Tyler started a new freight brokerage. And I remember him asking, we talked on the phone a few times about it. And he says, I want to do something that makes us different from the other carriers. And I said, I would leverage small trucks. I'm a big believer that the innovation happens between the boulders. Truckload is a huge boulder. LTL is a huge boulder. And I think companies like Warp are the innovators in the middle. And it's basically providing some of the advantages of truckload and some of the advantages of LTL that you can't always get.